Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Taft City Council Successor Agency regularly scheduled joint meeting for Tuesday, November the 20th. As a courtesy to all, please turn your cell phones off or on vibrate anyway. I always do, but I want to check that. Any writings or documents provided to a majority of the City Council regarding any item on this agenda are made available for public inspection in the lobby of Taft City Hall at 209 East Kern Street, Taft, California, during normal business hours because of Senate Bill 343. To begin this evening's meeting, we'll be led in the Pledge of Allegiance from Councilman Cryer, followed by the invocation from Kathy Johnson. If you'll join us, please.
Salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Father, we come to you in the name of Jesus, and we invite you into this chamber. We invite you into this region. And I ask, Father, for your blessing on these council members as they make decisions regarding this region and the people in these communities. I thank you for supernatural wisdom and understanding upon them and your blessing upon them and their families and the people that they represent. And I pray in the name of Jesus, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For yours is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, may we have a roll call, please?
Yes. Mayor Nord.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Hill. Here. Councilmember Bryant.
Here.
Councilmember Cryer.
Here.
And Councilmember Miller is absent with notice.
All right, thank you. Item number 1, hearing on delinquent commercial sewer and refuse accounts. City Manager Jones.
Thank you, Mayor. On October 30th, 2018, notices were mailed to both property owner and the business owner notifying them of the sewer and/or refuse account delinquency. Also contained in the letter, both parties were notified of the time and place of this public hearing whereby council will hear any objections or protests from the property owner or interested parties pursuant to the section 3-2-13 of the Taft Municipal Code. The second notice was mailed on November 15, 2018 as a reminder of the public hearing and given interested party the option to pay the account in full prior to the hearing date to avoid lien being placed on the property. Council may take such revisions or corrections to the report as it deems necessary, after which by resolution the report shall be confirmed and shall constitute special assessments against the respective parcels of land.
All right, thanks, City Manager Jones. Recommended action is to conduct a hearing regarding delinquent commercial sewer and refuse accounts. At this time, I would open that public hearing. Anybody wishing to speak regarding any of these issues, which would be the following APN numbers. APN number 031-020-05-0, 031-070-01-00-0, 031-070-11-00-9, or 031-030-01-00-8. Do we have anybody wishing to speak on any of those?
The bottom one has been paid.
Okay, it would appear the last one has been removed from the agenda. So that would be the 216 4th Street.
It was paid.
And it was paid. Thank you. Sir, if you would state your name, please, for the record.
Jack Leonard. I'm not sure what the procedure is or what all this means, other than I'm a property owner, so I'm going to get dinged with it sometime in the future, possibly. I'm sure we're all aware of the economics in this town, and a lot of businesses are struggling. as can be seen on the list here. There's 3 or 4 of those that have been struggling. And, you read off the section that gives you the authority to do all of this, but where do you read off where there could be financial or assistance to some of these struggling businesses? I don't hear that. And if a lien is put on my property, what does it take to get it off? If the tenant brings their account current, do you remove it right then? Or does it stay on for a long time? I don't know.
Well, sir, as a part of what I just read, it says that the last notice that went out to the individuals gave them the opportunity to come up here and clear the account prior to this evening's meeting. So it would appear, I don't know what piece of property you're speaking of, Mr. Leonard. What piece of property are you speaking?
212 6th Street.
All right. But
She was going to bring a payment in today, but she was busy all day and didn't get a chance. I saw her just before I came down here, and she was going to make a sizable payment tomorrow. But I don't know what the procedures are as far as when something actually gets put a lien gets put on the property. When do you take it off? What does it take to take it off?
Well, the procedure would be, sir, that when the notifications go out, the first thing to do would be to respond to city staff and come in here and talk to them regarding the issue. That is why there are multiple notices sent out, because we don't want to blindside anybody, for heaven's sakes. And these things did not happen overnight. These things took quite some time to add up to these numbers. But in regard to how it's cleared, once it becomes a lien on your property, I'm sure that the attorney can explain that.
It can be cleared, and in fact, I noticed that I noticed that our finance director was nodding her head, so we have something to add to what the procedure is. Now are we on? Thank you. What the procedure is here internally within
I think
City
Yvette
Hall
can
is-
speak on that since she's the one that
I'm
releases
sorry.
it and I sign it.
Thank you.
Once it's paid in full, I'm notified by finance. I prepare the lien release document and send it for recording to the county recorders.
30 days usually.
Yeah, if that.
Okay, and then she gets behind again. You go through the whole procedure again?
There's a city ordinance, sir, as there has to be regarding the payment. This is a payment to the people for a service. I mean, if there weren't ordinances, then you can enforce the rules if people don't understand what the rules are. So it is the city's intent and staff's intent to make it very clear to anybody who wants to do business, because we like business people in the city of Taft. The last thing we want is for anybody to not understand this need and to get so far behind that it becomes an insurmountable burden. We don't want to place liens on anybody's property. We are not in the business to do that. We would much prefer that people do business and are prosperous and are able to pay these bills. So we don't like this any more than you or anybody else. I assure you of that.
Well, I've complained about that in the past, and of course I've been told that I don't have any choice. If it gets behind, that's the procedure.
That is correct.
But there's no provision anywhere to assist struggling businesses to help them?
No, sir, this is not, there's no finances tied to the ordinance. The ordinance is in regard to payment, and the city provides a service, and in order to provide that service, the city has to be paid.
I understand that.
Yes.
But is there anything within any of the ordinances that allows the city to assist struggling businesses? A couple of these, I know who they are, and I know they're struggling. I got another tenant, I don't know if she'll make it or not. She hasn't seen the first bill, which is for 3 months, because I was in here yesterday to inquire about it. And she was trying to get started, and boom, a rock went through her window. She hasn't been back since then. I've told her that it's been replaced, but I hope that she'll come into town next week and try to do something, but she's trying to decide to go a different way. I think it's very tentative as to whether or not she'll make it.
I would have no knowledge of that, sir.
I know. But I got an audience that can at least hear,
Yes, sir.
whether they want to hear it or not. So I guess I spoke my piece.
Well,
I'm
thank
not
you.
happy about it. I'm not happy about the charges that are on there for my building, which there's 3 or 4 or 5 tenants, and they're all paying the same amount, but there's only one can back there. There's supposed to be a minimum charge per can.
I am not sure how many cans are back there, and nor am I sure, but
Behind my building, one.
you can,
One just come from my building will pay for 1 can. The theater, the resident that's next door, the businesses on Center Street, they're paying something too, but the service isn't being provided.
everybody pays something, sir. That's correct.
But this service isn't being provided.
Mr. Leonard,
One can.
have you come into City Hall and talked to city staff regarding this issue after you were notified? Or if you truly believe that the service that the other people are paying for is not being provided, had you come in and talked to anybody either in the city of Taft regarding that or at West Side Refuse? Have you let anybody know that?
I've complained, but it doesn't do any good.
Well, I'm sorry, I don't know who you complained to, but I truly believe we have a very receptive staff and that they would like nothing more than for everybody to be happy and do everything they can and make it all fair. So I would encourage you to make an appointment and come and sit down and discuss this issue such that it comes to some resolution.
Okay.
Thank you very much, sir. Is there anybody else wishing to speak on any of these issues? Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing. At this time, I would entertain a motion to confirm a list of delinquent commercial sewer and refuse accounts and approve resolutions entitled, "A Resolution of the City Council of the City of Taft approving and confirming the delinquent commercial sewer and refuse for 315 Center Street, Taft, APN number 031-020-05-0 for $444.98. A resolution for the same wording for 212 6th Street, Taft, California, APN number 031-070-01-00-0 for $502.50. And a resolution with the same wording for 510 Center Street, aka 508, Taft, California, APN number 031-070-11-00-9 in the amount of $724.34.
Motion. Second.
I have a motion and a second.
That works.
And you're right there too. So I have a motion from Councilman Bryant and a second from Mayor Pro Tem Hill. All right. Discussion.
I do have a couple quick questions and a couple points to make. I believe we had this exact same discussion about 4 years ago, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe, Jack, one of your properties was involved in that. Teresa, you might be able to answer this question. We talked about altering our business license application to where the property owner, if the person who was applying for a business license, they listed the property owner so we could do notifications. Are we notifying the property owner as well as the business owner that the fees are due?
Yes.
Okay. Because that was really the plan of action we took last time, was to try to get more information so we could adequately notify the business owner or the property owner to say, hey, look, you've got a tenant that's not following through. If they're following through on rents, it's fantastic, but you're going to have this coming down the line. And I sympathize with you, Jack. I totally do, and I understand where you're coming from when we talk about businesses struggling in town. There's nothing more than the city, and the mayor talked about it, wants the businesses to succeed. We've got the Economic Development Committee that's looking to help support businesses, and we've got programs we're looking into to offer those types of educational assistance to get folks to offer a business plan and a long-term plan to keep them successful for a long period, not just when their tax return happens to come in. But one thing we've noticed, and we've noticed in recent years, is when we have offered financial assistance through grant funding or things like that, even out of the city's funds, is led to a lot of bad debt. So even more expense on behalf of the taxpayer, and that's something we have to weigh. And oftentimes it doesn't weigh in favor of offering that type of assistance versus taking out of the public coffers. So that really is my response. But Teresa, you're...
So the question is, Teresa, do we notify the property owner along with the tenant?
Yes.
Do we do that when they become, after a certain time in arrears, or in concurrently when we do billing?
Yeah. The first couple notices just go to the tenant. To basically, there's like a reminder notice that their current bill includes past due. Then there's another second, like a more stirring, you're delinquent. When we start getting close to the lien process, we start sending out additional notices, and those notices start going to the property owner.
Is it a flat rate monthly or what's the rate? Is it based on
They're
your?
all different. They're not all different.
The commercial building, just a normal office building, the bill is approximately less than $90 every other month, so it's approximately $40-some every month. But we do bi-monthly billing, but the businesses that have a tendency to start getting behind, we usually, if they do come in, we like to sit down and have a discussion with them and tell them, you know what your bill is. It's always flat. It's not a rate, it's not based upon measured rate. So you know what the bill is. If it's more manageable and we're more accepted to it, is split the bill in half every month, come and pay half of the bill. Don't wait for your bill. Just every month come and bring us $40 or $50, and then we'll apply it to your account. So the last time we did this, our list was like about 30 businesses. Now the list is getting shorter. We're getting more to where we're educating a lot of the business owners that were behind. And when we're giving them their business license packet and we're discussing it, sometimes they feel like they have sticker shock, but we try to, again, explain to them, let's break this down. Your bill is this much per month, but you get a bill every other month. Come on in and pay some money, and apply it to your account. Don't wait for your bill. So it's kind of working and educating them. And then, of course, right now is getting close to business license renewal time. So a lot of businesses are trying to ensure that their bill is caught up, because if they owe or are in arrears for any debt to the city, their business license will not be renewed or accepted.
And these charges that we're showing here, is that net of the deposit that's made upon applying for business license?
This is the amount owed. Their deposit is applied to a pending account,
okay,
or it's set aside. So if they do go out of business and they have an outstanding balance, then the deposit will be applied, and then the remaining amount will send to collections and do what we can to collect the remaining amount.
Okay, and when it comes to past due bills, at what point do we start pursuing a lien?
When they get three months behind.
Perfect. Thank you.
Or excuse me, 3 billings, which is 6 months.
Thank you. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
And
Thank
that's
you.
per the ordinance.
All right.
Thank you, Teresa.
Mayor Pro Tem Hill.
I have quite a few problems with this. First of all, as a commercial property owner, this is less than $100 every 2 months. As a landlord, I would suggest that you raise the rent $50 a month and say your garbage is taken care of. That way you won't have a lien. If I were renting my building out, that is what I would do. That way I wouldn't have the problem. I too share a garbage can with numerous people, as do most people on Center Street or in commercial property. It's just the way it is. If I felt like I needed another garbage can, I would come in and ask. But we all have to pay, not just for the garbage, but for the sewage too. That's part of what that fee is. I personally think that when a business is this far in arrears, we should take their license away until they pay it. I'm sorry, I do. This is $50 a month, and I too am a business owner, and I too know that it's very difficult at this time just to have a business. It is difficult. This is part of what you know you have to pay. $50 is not that much. I'm sorry. When you get this far behind, flat out, I'm sorry. We should just say you've got X amount of time to do this or your business license is taken away. And that is mean. I know it's mean. But this is ridiculous. But a lien on the property is not going to get the people's money back to the city. It's not going to get that. And the odds of these getting paid are slim and none. I know that the property that was, some of the property that was purchased on Center Street recently, that the property was so far back as far as the sewage that the new owner had to pay all of it or he couldn't have bought the property. And I think it was quite a bit. I don't think it's fair to the property owners if they're leasing it out. In your particular case, Mr. Leonard, you've been here several times. I do suggest that you raise your tenant's rent and say, don't worry, your sewage is covered. That'll solve your problem. However, I do know it's difficult. I know it's difficult. I have a small business. I know it is. But when somebody is $700, $500, and $400 plus, the odds of the city ever getting this money back, I think it's a travesty. I'm sorry. I really think that we should tell these people that, you're right, I'm glad that we don't let them have their business licenses back. Because December we have, I'm assuming December 1st, we're supposed to get our licenses all, and they can't get their license without it?
Business license applications went out the beginning of November.
I've got mine sitting there, and it should be
Yes.
going out. But I know that, for example, the one thing that is kind of a funny thing is when you do get paid every other month, you get your bill for that. Sometimes you do forget, and I was guilty of forgetting one time and got a phone call because I had not paid mine and I needed my license renewed. I brought it in. It's $100. But the point is, when you're this far behind, it is very, very difficult to pay. That does get ridiculous. But we shouldn't let it get this far. I think we should stop it earlier. Sorry, that's just my opinion.
Thank you very much. Councilman Cryer.
Thank you, Mayor. I can fill for Leonard. Myself, I had an issue that last week I had got resolved with the city of Bakersfield. They'll play games over there. We're more lenient here. I had a tenant, same thing Leonard did. And it was a different situation. It was an abatement deal where I owned the property. The tenant wasn't taking care of the property, and I have a property manager that takes care of all my rentals over there. I never got a bill or anything about it until very recently, where they started taking action. I received my first notice and stuff that's sent to me, and the property management never received it, but the tenants received it. And they held on to it and never said anything. My bill to get abated was $800, plus $179 from the city of Bakersfield to re-inspect it. I guess we'd say to make sure it was done. If not, they were going to do the same thing, do a lien deal. But sometimes it's not the landlord's fault. That falls back as last resort to the business owner or the person who owns the property on record. It's the blunt of it, where the tenants sometimes run away, don't pay it, or don't pay the rent, or whatever. The poor businessman that owns it is struggling too, owning it and trying to collect rent from another business that's struggling. That makes it hard on everybody, and I can feel his pain on there. And unfortunately, there is no, we can't give public funds to businesses and stuff to pay their electric or utilities or trash deal. But it's a tough deal that the tenants can walk away and the owners have to pay for it, take the burden of it. But I can still feel your way, Leonard. And like we talked about yesterday, we might need to probably need to increase it, but that's a situation that I feel I have. That's thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, well, the fact of the matter is, it is a contract you enter into when you go into business in the city of Taft. Being a landlord is never going to be easy. It's not absolute. There are no guarantees. It's business. It's an investment. You take a chance. But be that as it may, this is the procedure. If you have one other thing you'd like to say to the council, I will give you that opportunity, sir.
I just would rebut to what Ms. Hill was talking about. Raising the rent's easy. You can say that all day long, but I can't raise the rent on my tenants. Some of them I've had to adjust the rent because it's been difficult for them. I'm the one that's been trying to help them by doing that. And another $50, I'd have a hard time getting it. I'm sorry.
All right. Well, we understand.
And I've been in touch with the tenant. She was well aware that she was behind. So.
All right. Thank you, sir. At this time, I have a motion. I have a second. May we have a roll call, please?
Yes. Councilmember Cryer?
Yes.
Councilmember Bryant?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Hill?
Yes.
And Mayor Noor?
Yes, that passes on a 4-0 vote. Thank you all. All right, next item on the agenda, public hearing performance report out of closeout of CGB Grant 15 CGB 10-564. City Manager Jones.
Thank you, Mayor. Recipients of the Community Development Block Grant funds are required to hold a public hearing regarding grant performance in order to provide information to citizens regarding the performance of grant activities. This is an opportunity to share whether activities were completed in a timely fashion, within budget, and are in accordance and overall CDBG program goals and objectives. The public is encouraged to ask questions and express viewpoints on the grant. The CDBG program is a program in which federal housing and urban development funds are provided to small cities and counties through and administered by the California Department of Housing and Community Development, HCD. The CDBG program is designed to meet the following national objectives. 1, to benefit targeted income households. 2, to eliminate slums and blight. And 3, to meet urgent community development needs. The purpose of the 2015 CDBG grant was to install infill sidewalks in a qualified project area bounded by 6th to 10th Streets and Oak to Front Streets. In order to allow for the expenditure of CDBG program income as a supplemental activity to the city administering housing activities. Grants performance, the activity from the sidewalk project assisted 2,400 plus population at $1,040,700. Grant general administration 66,151. In housing and rehabilitation, there was 3 households at 168,707. Home buyer assistance, there was 2 households at 147,717. Activity delivery was 32,462, and disencumbered funds in the amount of 537,255.83 cents.
Thank you, City Manager Jones. At this time, the recommendation is to hold a public hearing and receive comment on this issue. I will open said hearing. Anybody wishing to speak in support or opposition of this matter, please come forward. Seeing no one, I'll close that public hearing. At this time, I would entertain a motion to accept any and all comments to be placed in the city's public information file and instruct staff to process needed grant closeout documents to disencumber unused funds.
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Additional comments, Mayor Pro Tem Hill.
None.
Councilman Ryan.
No, sir.
Councilman Cryer.
No comment.
Okay, I also have no comment. May we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Cryer?
Yes.
Councilmember Bryant?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Hill?
Yes.
And Mayor North?
Yes. Now pass on a 4-0 vote. Thank you. All right. Item number 3, citizens request public comments. This is the time and place for the general public to address the City Council on matters within its jurisdiction. State law prohibits the council from addressing any issue not previously included on the agenda. Council may receive comment and set the matter for a subsequent meeting. Please limit your comments to 5 minutes. This evening we have Charles Pruitt. Charles, if you would please come forward. And the topic is the Rose Parade Float Invitation.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
I hope you guys are all doing well this evening, and the election went to your the way you wanted. As you know, my name is Charles Pruitt. I'm a volunteer ambassador with the Donate Life Group, One Legacy, representing the 7 Southern California counties, including Kern. We are the organ and tissue procurement organization for this area, serving over 20 million citizens. I'm here as an ambassador to invite you all to come down to Los Angeles, to Irwindale, to have the exclusive first look at the 2019 Donate Life Rose Parade float. The title of it is Rhythm of the Heart, which is kind of self-explanatory. It's on December 12th from 10 a.m. to 12 at Fiesta Parade Floats in Irwindale. It's to invite civic officials and leaders of the communities we serve to an exclusive opportunity to see the float for the first time, and through personal interaction with float honorees, One Legacy staff and ambassadors, and the float itself, exclusive first look event attendees will learn about the Donate Life Rose Parade float and the healing and life-saving cause it represents. organ, eye, and tissue donation. My personal connection to Donate Life and to transplant is 4 years ago in August of 2014, I received the liver of a 19-year-old young man. This was, for me, a life-saving operation. Without that operation, I would not be here right now to talk to you guys. It's motivated me to want to spread my good fortune in receiving my transplant and to spread the word about what an important cause this is, and to increase the number of donors that are available in case of the worst happens, someone is to pass away, that they would become someone's hero, such as my donor was to me. If I could get a response from you guys by November 30th, if any of you would like to go down and attend, we are inviting parties of 4 people from each of the municipalities we serve to attend and to view the float and to learn more about Donate Life and One Legacy. Every day, more than 20 people die waiting for a transplant. These are just people that are listed waiting for a transplant. Over 20 of them die, and a new name is added every 10 minutes to the transplant list. Nationally, there are over 114,000 people that are on the transplant list waiting to have a life-saving transplant, and almost 20% of those are right here in California. The need is extremely great, and in the last few years that I've been doing this, this is my 3rd appearance here at the council. In the last few years, that list has actually improved from over 120,000, to down to 114,000. And that's because of efforts of people like me to spread the word to people that how important it is to become a donor. And I'd just like to add that the city of Taft, I learned earlier this year, Kern County, countywide, the rate of people that are have the pink dot on their license or have signed up to be donors is less than 30% countywide. But the city of Taft, the rate is hovering around 40%, which makes Taft the one of the most participating communities in the county. And that's something you guys can be proud of.
We're a very giving community, indeed.
Yeah. Well, I was a resident here for around 35 years before I moved away for work. My wife and my kids all were born here. Some of you know them. Josh went to school with one of my sons. I believe Renee might know my wife. And, we've been around a long time. We have roots here. And I enjoy coming back. I was at Taft High this past week speaking to students there all day about organ and tissue donation. And I received a phone call later that evening from the mother of one of the students saying that when he came home from school that day, they had a discussion about signing up to be donors and all, and it really was a very big family moment for them.
Wow.
So anyway, I've left information with you guys about the who, what, where, why about it. And if any of you are interested in going, you can contact me. I left my number on there too. And you can contact me and I'll help make the arrangements for it.
All right, Charles, thanks for taking the time to come before us and reminding everybody how important that program is. It's a lifesaver. Thank you.
I appreciate it, and I'll be back in April for Donate Life Month.
All right, excellent. Have a good day, sir.
You too.
All right, next up, item number 4, council statements, non-action. Councilman Cryer, let's start with you this evening.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. Thanksgiving's coming up really quick, 2 more days, and we'll all be enjoying our big turkey in the sky. But anyway, be safe. There's a lot of traffic out there. I know there's a lot of traffic today. I do a lot of driving up and down the freeways and all about. And I was amazed when this traffic's out there. School's out, so they'll probably be part of it. Everybody traveling to grandma's house and to go visiting. And just be safe out there. So watch us next council meeting. Don't plan to miss our meetings because we got careless. But anyway, enjoy it. And the holiday's coming. And that's what I have there. Thank you.
All right. Councilman Bryant.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll just echo the sentiment of Councilmember Cryer. I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving this coming Thursday. I want to wish all the bank accounts a very, seamless Black Friday. And then another big thing is what they call Small Business Saturday. So I really would encourage folks, if you can, you're going to spend all kinds of money on Friday, but save a little bit and spend a little bit, especially locally. Help that guy who owns that corner store down there continue to thrive in this community. Not that buying from big business is bad, but shop local whenever you can and support that local business. So we're very thankful for the businesses we have here in town, all the folks who invest their time, efforts, and money to put those out there and to employ local people and to give out local people a chance. I'm very thankful for our city staff and thankful to call this place home. I'm thankful for two other ladies. On Thursday between 11 and 1 at the Moose Lodge, every year a couple of ladies do a community Thanksgiving project. I don't know how many folks they feed, but it's in the hundreds, and it gets way up there. But Debbie McLean, you guys might know her. Debbie likes to deliver the mail for the U.S. Postal Service. And then Kay Sullivan. And Kay is, I believe she's retired now, but those two ladies are kind of the focal points. And if I miss somebody who also heads that up, I apologize. But kudos to those ladies, because I love being able to go up there, help serve, help clean up. It's just a good time to get to spend with my family, being able to serve others. So if you get a chance, go by, say hi, serve a little, eat a little, whatever makes you happy. But I hope everybody has a fantastic Thanksgiving. And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
All right. Mayor Pro Tem Hill.
Thank you, Mayor. First off, I'd like to thank the city for the lovely Christmas decorations that they are putting out. For those of you who have not seen them, we have beautiful new Christmas decorations and flags down Center Street and flags going down Main Street, Kern Street, and parts of 6th Street. Is that correct? And they're very bright and very festive. And for all the people who've been complaining for years that we only had Christmas decorations on 2 blocks, we are going to have a lot more Christmas decorations this year, and it's very, very nice. Also, in regards to Small Business Saturday, remember those small business people are not usually buying second homes. They're usually paying for their first homes. And like Mr. Leonard said, it is hard out there for a lot of small businesses, and they would appreciate if you saved a little bit of your Black Friday money and brought it into the small businesses. Most people will be open, and most people will be having sales. I've been hearing a lot of chatter down the streets as to what's going on, so please come down and support all the small businesses in our town. Thank you. That's all I have.
All right. Very good. Thank you very much. I was not here on the evening of the big vote. And so I did not have an opportunity to congratulate and thank all of those who chose to run to represent and work for the people. It is never an easy journey, and sometimes a little bit more complex and bumpy ride than others. But for all of those of you who decided to take that step and offer your services to the people for the right reasons, for honorable reasons, I congratulate you and I thank you, whether or not you were successful. Those who were, I look forward to working with the newly seated council to continue doing the people's business. I'm very proud of the city of Taft. I'm very proud of our city manager and the team of professionals that he has helped assemble to serve the people of the city of Taft. I choose to live in the city of Taft. I raised my family in this city, and having traveled all over the place, it's always great to come back to Taft. We're a very fortunate group indeed. So thank you all for your commitment. I look forward to that. That's all I have this evening. Next up, Planning Commission reports. Do we have a Planning Commissioner this evening? You have the boss, Mark Staples.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Knorr. I am taking the place of Commissioner Lycum, who was originally signed for this, and I'm sure being the holiday week, it might have slipped his mind, or he's still at work. So I'll take the place for Vice Chair Livingston this evening. At our meeting 2 weeks ago, we had a unique item where we had issued or approved a conditional use permit back in 2016 for the aquaponics business on Kern Street, and the commission at that time placed a unique condition for a 1-year review once the business was up and running. They didn't open or initiate business until sometime early in 2017. So that would have made earlier this year the 1-year review mark. But we had noticed there was not a lot of operations going on earlier this year. So we reached out to the business operator to see if she would come in for that 1-year review, even though it seems like the business was kind of in transition, which it was. So we had that 1-year review 2 weeks ago on Wednesday, November 7th. And the business operator is transitioning a little less on the production side of things as she initially was intending. She's working on a retail portion of it where there's a scaled down version of doing the unique vegetable growing through aquaponics that someone could do in their own home, and it won't take up an entire room like the front of that building is at the moment. So we re-reviewed it. There hasn't been any code violation issues or other reasons to continue to review it. So with this new direction, it didn't seem like it was in any contrast to how it was initially approved. So the commission voted unanimously to delete the condition off of the conditions of approval for further review and wish the business owner luck in her future endeavor with this retail portion of her business. So the conditional use permit is essentially closed until she stops operating, or it's approved until she stops operating. So that was the first item. Then I provided 2 reports on 2 different committee meetings we had. The Economic Development Ad Hoc Committee. We had the gentleman from Fresno State who presented the various programs that they're part of their duties of helping the small towns of the Central Valley with what Councilmember Bryant mentioned regarding helping small businesses. So we're trying to get that going, which was initially generated through the CPAP process. They attended that. I've attended some other training meetings with this gentleman, and we're probably going to start that up in January, February to start re-engaging with the downtown businesses and other small businesses in town who want to take advantage of essentially this free service that Fresno State offers. And we'll be sending notices out to the businesses in Taft for those who want to attend, to even if you're doing pretty well, but maybe you want to just attend to find that next little bit that keeps your business moving and operating in the positive direction instead of maybe struggling a little bit. So there will be business planning, there will be other things that they present to all the business owners, and they want to have a good amount of people for this event, and I'll be sending those notices out early next year. And then the other one is the as far as the committees are concerned, the Homeless Vagrancy Committee meeting that we kicked off a couple weeks ago. It was a good start off to the meeting, or the committee. We had 2 members, Chairman Orn and Commissioner Banner, and I had them just share what was said in that committee and what direction the committee was going. And it seemed the other commissioners agreed with what was happening with the police department, what they've been doing, and trying to help mitigate any issues with the homeless or other vagrants in town. So that's what we discussed at our planning commission meeting.
All right. Thank you very much. Very thorough report.
And if I may donate life left, just as a personal note, when it comes to the Rose Parade floats, I actually volunteered as a decorator for almost 10 years straight, from the early 90s to early 2000s, through my Lutheran church down in the LA area. It's really an experience to go through it all, because it's a mad dash from the first Saturday in December all the way to January 1st, applying all those live materials. Every inch of that float has to have live materials. They may be dry, non-perishable type materials for the most part. And then when you get all those bed of flowers, whether it be roses or not, it's quite the effort, visual sight. And then when it hits the sun and everything blooms just in time for New Year's Day, it's quite the effort that goes into it. It's actually a 12-month effort. They're already talking about 2020 right now.
Yeah, great.
Right now, you're just finishing what they started 12 months ago for January 1st, 2019. So if you get a chance to go, check it out. I'm not sure, I don't recall what date he said you would be able to see the floats, but they'll probably be mostly uncovered. You really see their full beauty and glory more after Christmas Day. That's when the flowers go on. So just a little personal anecdote on that story about the float. So,
All right, thank you very much,
Right.
Mark. Appreciate the comment. Okay, next up we have department reports. Any additional department reports? Seeing none. City Manager statement. City Manager Jones.
Thank you, Mayor. I have some information. I received a letter this week from Spectrum cable provider that indicated they plan on closing the Taft office located at 145 Kern Street within 30 days. We've been in contact with them. There's some issues that the city has pertaining to our local channel and the airing of our council meetings, which happen at that local office. So wrote a letter, been in contact. We're trying to work on a solution to still provide the council meetings on the local channel. They cite that because of the internet and the mail capabilities of the boxes that they no longer need the office. It's not feasible, financially feasible. So that information, and then the folks are wondering, Councilman Miller is home recovering from his surgery quite well. He wishes everyone a happy Thanksgiving, and as I do too. And I think that's it.
All right, thank you very much. And we wish Councilman Miller the very best. He and his wife Jeannie, and I too hear he's doing quite well. Played golf with his brother the other day, and so good for Randy. Next up, City Attorney statements.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. No statement.
No statements this evening. All right. Future agenda requests. Do any council members have any future agenda requests this evening? No? All right. We'll move forward. Next up, the consent calendar, items 10 through 14. All items listed on the consent calendar shall be considered routine and will be enacted by one roll call vote. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a member of the City Council requests specific items to be removed from the consent calendar for separate action. Any item removed from the consent calendar will be considered after the regular business items. Are there any items on the consent calendar that any member of the public would like to comment on? Seeing none, those items are item number 10, the minutes of the November 6th, 2018 regular meeting. Item number 11, the payment of bills, about $42,000 worth. Item number 12, authorization of sale of 112 East Lucard Street, Taft, California to Dylan Connor. Recommendation is a motion to adopt a resolution entitled A Resolution of the City Council of the City of Taft authorizing the sale of property located at 112 East Lucard Street, Taft, California to Dylan Connor for $65,000 and authorizing the mayor, city manager, and or assistant city manager to execute all escrow and other documents necessary to complete the sale of real property and making certain findings in connection therewith. Item number 13 is an amended tri-party agreement between the City of Taft, Sunset Rails LLC, and Capital Rivers Inc. regarding the purchase of city property APN number 032-110-30. Recommendation there is a motion to approve the First Amendment to the tri-party agreement regarding purchase of real property for a 1.53 acre portion of city-owned property located at APN number 032-110-30 and authorize the mayor to sign the agreement. And then finally, item 14, approval of street closures for the Christmas parade on December 3rd, 2018. Recommendation is a motion to adopt a resolution entitled Resolution of the City Council of the City of Taft authorizing the street closures for the 2018 Christmas parade. Do any council members wish to remove any of these items from the consent calendar?
Yes, sir.
Nope.
All right, hearing none, at this time I would entertain a motion to approve consent calendar items 10 through 14.
Motion.
Second.
A motion and a second.
I didn't get the second.
You didn't hear the second?
I got the motion.
No.
Okay.
I'll take it.
All right, Josh has a second. May we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Cryer?
Yes.
Councilmember Bryant?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Hill?
Yes.
And Mayor Nor.
Yes, that passes on a 4-0 vote. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
Sir.
Was everyone
Oh, I'm sorry.
present For number 10, the November 6th.
Oh, shame on me. I need to abstain from item number 10 as I was not here.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. I hate missing out on these things. All right. Next up, item number 15, Fire Department Reserve Fund. City Manager Jones.
Thank you, Mayor. City Council made a determination to eliminate the Taft Fire Department and contract with Kern County Fire Department for fire protection and safety services. In doing so, City Council resolved to create a reserve fund in the amount of $500,000 per year for 5 years for a total of $2.5 million, established by City Council Resolution Number 2960-07. Should the city reestablish a fire department in the future, the funds will be held in a reserve fund, shall be used for the purpose of reestablishing a fire department. Should the city council determine the reserve fund is no longer needed, it would require a unanimous vote and make a specific finding that the funds are no longer necessary for fire protection and safety, and that the funds are being utilized for fire protection and safety services, and additionally shall find the termination of the reserve fund is the best interest of the health, safety, and welfare of the community. The Finance Committee has recommended the full council consider to redistribute the reserve fund for the best interest of the health, safety, and welfare of the community. They also have made the recommendation that these funds be invested into PARs to increase the city's rate of return. The funds will be used in the future to pay unfunded liability expenses at CalPERS, and these future liabilities do include retirement costs from fire safety plan along with other city plans.
All right, thank you, City Manager Jones. Recommend action. At this time, I would entertain a motion to adopt a resolution entitled, "A Resolution of the City Council of the City of Taft making required findings and approving the termination of the Fire Reserve Fund."
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. Councilman Ryan.
I have a feeling you're going to be able to discuss this far more in depth and far more clearly for everyone, so I will defer to you, Mr. Mayor. No more for the
Thank
statement.
you very much, sir. I will be happy to do just that.
As I.
All right. Councilman Cryer.
The only question I would have, is it unanimous means 5 council members or is it 4 out of 5?
Unanimous means the seated council at the time. So that would be those 4 of us that sit here.
Yeah.
That is correct.
Okay, check. Thank you.
Okay, I'd be happy to discuss this. Just to take you back just a little bit, when the city of Taft had their own city fire department, it became evident that the cost to the people of the city of Taft to try to produce the equipment and the resources that the county had in order to safeguard the safety and welfare of the people of the city of Taft was economically impossible. We did not have the funds. When you think about what they can bring to bear with the ladder trucks and the helicopters and all the people. So it became a financial burden. So we elected to go to Kern County and talk to them about providing those services. And the proposal that we got from them was very advantageous for the people of the city of Taft. So we made that decision. One thing that we did think about was the fact that should later on the cost to provide those services to us from the county, if they became so expensive that we had to exercise some alternative, we wanted to have some funds put away. So we elected to put away $500,000 a year for 5 years and create this reserve fund of $2.5 million. That was in 2007, correct? Well, at that time, that would have gotten us started in the fire department business. Well, at this time, it would not. And in point of fact, by the time you staffed everybody, based on current contract realities, the cost to the general fund would be astronomical, and we just simply could not afford it. Another thing that has happened in the meantime is the costs or the pension fund burden of the unfunded liability for the fire department we do not any longer have continues to rise and rise and rise. We have discussed pension fund debt quite often up here at this dais. So one of the things that we talked about was being able to utilize that $2.5 million, which at this point in time is held, and we are only able to produce income of somewhere around 1.2 or 1.4%. If we exercise this, we do indeed fulfill the needs and the requirements of this fund, which is if we decide to remove it from this reserve fund, we have to do it in the best interest of health, safety, and welfare of the community. The interest that we're going to address is basically being able to continue to fund the debt load that is represented by the unfunded liability. We'll be able to take that $2.5 million, earning a maximum of 1.2 to 1.4%, and we'll be able to invest that in PARs and hopefully earn 4, 5, 6%. It all depends on the market, obviously. But our intent is to do that along with the cash flow that we have been able to create, which allows us to pay our entire PERS unfunded liability debt at the beginning of the year instead of through the course of the year, which saves us about 3.55%. So if we can save 3.55 by doing what we're doing now, earn an additional perhaps 3% by taking this action, that's 6.55% of the 7% they're charging us. It's a substantial increase in what we're able to pay and not draw out of our general fund. So that is the intent here. That was the intent of the original city council when we did this in 2007. That's the reality of the way things are today. That is our intent moving forward, and that is the reason for this resolution, this recommended action. And if there are any other discussions or questions regarding the need for this or regarding the idea behind this, by all means, now's the time to talk about it.
So I defer to you, and you'd explain it. It makes much sense.
Perfect. It definitely makes sense, and it's a business sense, and it's a great savings to the taxpayers here in our city. And the only other question I may have is, are we going to look at anything else we put in reserves as far as the uncertainties in California is coming along with our new governor and stuff, in a way for our additional funds for the case they close our CCF or any other issues that can come in the future?
Well, that will have to be addressed as we move forward. You are right in this, and I will agree with you wholeheartedly. At the end of the election, when I saw who won and who was up there and who's going to make decisions, there's going to be a cascade of ideas coming from newly seated legislators and the new governor. And at this time, heaven only knows what's coming out of it. We will only be able to respond to those things as they come forward. So your guess is as good as mine what's coming out of Sacramento, folks. But what we do know is that we can do these things because, after all, the solutions to the problems created by the state of California for any municipality is going to have to be dealt with and solved on a municipal level. And it's not going to be solved in Sacramento, and it's certainly not going to be solved in the legislature, in spite of the fact that we work very, very hard with our local legislators, and we're very fortunate to have their ear on any given day. But this is certainly an opportunity for us to make a decision and to put things in place to help us deal with the issues that were created up there.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. My pleasure. Any other questions?
Yes, sir.
All right. At this time, I have a motion and a second. May we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Cryer?
Yes.
Councilmember Bryant?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Hill?
Yes.
And Mayor Knorr?
Yes, and that passes on a 4-0 vote. I thank you very much. And believe it or not, we have no closed session items this evening, which is cause for celebration. I'd love to invite everybody back for cookies, but I'm not allowed to do that. So at this time, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
This meeting is adjourned.